Hello, I'm Jagan from Grow with Data. Welcome to the Crack SQL Interview in 50 question series. In this video series, we'll practice 50 SQL questions across various topics. You can use the playlist Crack SQL Interview in 50 questions to follow the videos related to this series. For each video in this series, you can find the related code on my GitHub. Feel free to explore the code and provide any feedback in the comment section. Now let's dive into the 23rd video of the series, and we are going to start with sorting and grouping methods. If you are if you've seen the previous videos, you know the drill. You go to the YouTube channel, Grow with Data, and you have a playlist. We are talking about a crack SQL Interview 50 questions, and you can see all the videos related to this series. You see crack SQL, new player login consecutive days. So if you want to see the code related to this video, then you go to the description part where you see the code link. You click on the GitHub link, it will take you to the GitHub page where you have the create statement and all the select statement used in this video. Great. Now let's see the data and we'll talk about the question in detail. We are given the teacher table. Let's create the table. So the table got a teacher ID and the subject the teacher is taking and the department. We are asked to create an output based on for each teacher how many distinct subjects they are taking, and we have to sort the output based on the number of subjects they take in the descending order. And if there is more than one teacher who got the same number of subjects, then you sort based on the teacher ID. Let's see the output and we can talk more in detail. So we have the teacher ID 2 got 4 subjects and teacher ID 1 and 3 got 2 subjects. So if we see here, for teacher ID 1, we got 3 records. So subject 2 is for department 3 and 4 and subject 3 is for department 3. The same way for teacher 3, we got 2 records, subject 4 and subject 1. So for every teacher, we have the output here, and teacher 1 and 3, we got the record here. And for teacher 2, we got 4 records and 4 distinct subjects. Since teacher 2 got more subject count, so that comes first. 4 comes first in the descending order, and then we got 2 teachers with the same number of subjects. So we sort based on the teacher ID. 1 comes first and 3 comes next. The key point is the count has to be in the descending order, and then the teacher ID should be in the ascending order within the count. Okay, fine. Let's comment out the section and we can go into the coding part of it. So this is one of the basic questions which is related to the group by and the sorting part of it. First, let's get the teacher and the unique subjects they take. Okay, so select from teacher, we need the teacher ID and then the subject ID. Okay, so if you run this, you get all the records based on the teacher and subject. So if we see the teacher ID got subject 2 times because it's 2 different departments, right? 3 and 4. And then for 2, we have 4 records. For 3, we have 2 records. But we need the distinct subject ID. So simply you can say distinct, right? And you run it, you get the distinct of it. So teacher 1 got 2, teacher 2 got 4, teacher 3 got 2, right? So we can do this in another way also. So we can say group by teacher ID and subject ID. Instead of distinct, I can simply say the group by those columns. Even that will give you the same result. So what is the difference between the distinct and the group by? So distinct will try to get the record distinct check on record by record basis. It will first go to the first record, it will get the teacher ID and the subject ID, and then go to the second record, check if that teacher ID subject ID exists before in the result. If it exists before, it just ignores it, and then it comes to the next one, check the teacher ID and the subject ID exist. If not exist, it will add to the result. So it go with every record and check if the record exists before or not. What will the group by do? it will first execute the teacher ID and the subject ID. It brings everything to the buffer, and then it will group the shrink based on the duplicate record. So most of the time I use group by because I see the performance will be much better. But the side part is the group by will take some memory because it brings all the record and then group by. But when you go with Hive, those kind of databases, the map reduce will do all that in the each node part of it. So there won't be much difference between the distinct and the group by. But technically, this is the way. So distinct will try on a record basis, group by will try at the aggregation basis after the record is pulled. Okay, now we see the teachers and we get the number of distinct subject IDs, and we have to get the number instead of the subject ID. So how will I get the number? I can simply say count. So when I say count, it's the aggregation function, right? As CNT. So it's aggregation function. In the group by, we can share only the non-aggregate columns. So now if I run, I got the teacher ID 1, 2, and 3. So the first part is done. So we did the subject, but we see the data, it's not right. So teacher 1 got 3 counts. That means it consider the subjects individually. It is not taking the distinct of that. So previously we do group by teacher ID and subject ID, it took the distinct of it. But when I do the count of subject ID, it goes to every record, it just count, right? So 1, 2, 3, it's right. But we need a distinct of subject count. So how will I do it? I simply say distinct of subject ID. Now if you see, user teacher 1 got 2 subjects, teacher 3 got 2 subjects. Now it matches. So our count part is done. The second piece is we have to sort. So how to sort? There is something called order by teacher ID, and then the second column is count of distinct subject ID. So this is what the count is. So when you run it, first column is teacher ID. So it sort by teacher ID 1, 2, and 3. And then it sort based on the count of subject ID. So 2, 4, 3. Since every record got a distinct teacher ID, not much can happen in the count. If there is one teacher ID and multiple counts in different aggregation level, then the second column makes sense. And instead of giving count distinct subject ID, I simply say CNT, right? Even that works. Okay, and I basically give the numbers. For example, you say 1, 2. So 1 represent the first column, 2 represent the second column. Even the group by, I can say 1, which means the first column in the select statement. That will give the same result. But what we are expecting is we have to do distinct based on the count. So how will I do it? So we can just have the column name for now. So count by default it's ascending order. So you just say ASC, right? So it implicitly take ascending order. Okay. So if you want to change the order, I have to say descending order. Okay. When I run it, there is no change, right? So it says 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2 subject. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. The count is not sorted based on the descending. The reason is first we have given the teacher ID. So it considered teacher ID, sort it and ascending order, then it goes to the count. But we need count as the first preference. So we take count of the subjects in descending order, then you go with the teacher ID in the ascending order. When you do that, if you see, the count is considered first, and then it goes to the teacher ID 1 and 3. If I want the teacher ID to be descending, I can simply say descending order. So it will consider 3 and then 1. If you don't give any order, ascending or descending, by default it will take the ascending order. You want to explicitly override the ascending order, then you have to give that as ascending or descending. So if you don't give anything, then here the count will be considered as ascending, and then it will consider the teacher ID as ascending. So 2 is the first one. And out of that, it's 1 and 3. If I give teacher ID descending, the count will be ascending order. Teacher ID within the count will be the descending order. Okay. So these are the basic things. The first thing is you have to know how to use the count and the difference between count and the distinct of the count. The second one is how to use the group by. So you use the group by only for those columns which are not aggregated. And the third one is we can take the order by implicitly it's ascending order. If you want to override the ascending order, you explicitly say is a descending order. Okay. And instead of giving the column names, I can give the column position also. There are database which might not take it, like my MS SQL Server. I don't think will consider the position, but most of the database will accept it. So this is 2 and this is 1. It's based on the position in the select statement. Okay. So it's a simple SQL. Hope you like it, and thanks for watching this video.